Good evening, everyone. I'm Katie Moore. While pedophile priest Lawrence Hecker awaits trial on rape and kidnapping charges in New Orleans, one of his many alleged victims wonders why Hecker hasn't also been arrested in other parts of South Louisiana. Here's the latest in our David Hammer investigation, Losing Faith.
Each time we and our reporting partner, Ramon Antonio Vargas, expose more evidence of a cover-up. Each time the Archdiocese of New Orleans tried to keep its records on child sexual abuse a secret. It struck a chord for Greg Livaudais.
And I appreciate what you and Ramon are doing tremendously. A lot of people appreciate it. I know a lot of people follow you. Keep it up.
But recently, our stories exposing the church's sealed files on Father Lawrence Hecker have meant even more to Livaudais.
I wanted Hecker to know that I remember. You hurt me.
He remembers the early 1970s. Livaudais was an Eagle Scout. Hecker was the head of scouting for the Archdiocese of New Orleans. And he remembers Hecker grooming him.
We played handball, built up a good sweat and all like that, and afterwards he suggested we go swim in their pool. Now, I didn't have any swimsuit, and he says, you don't need any. It's a saltwater pool, and you can only swim nude in it.
He remembers Hecker sending him this postcard from the 1973 National Scout Jamboree. Remembers Hecker giving him gifts.
He played one of those claw machines, you know, and he got this ceramic ashtray in the shape of a hand shooting the middle finger, you know, and he gave it to me as a gift, you know. I mean, who gives a 15-year-old kid an ashtray of a hand shooting the middle finger, you know? Weird.
And he remembers that gift in a whole new light now that the Louisiana State Police has launched a child sex trafficking investigation of the Archdiocese. The police allege in a search warrant that abuser priests often gave kids gifts as a signal to other abusers. Tell me about what kind of ran through your mind when you saw that.
That's me. That's what he did to me.
Livaudais says the abuse began on a weekend scouting retreat a couple weeks after he turned 16. He says it started at Hecker's church in Luling.
My father had dropped me off at the rectory on that Friday night. I had my own little sleeping room. He came in that night, abused me.
The next night at a scout camp in St. Francisville, he said it happened again.
And again, when I was sleeping, he came in, abused me.
Livaudais remembers the sense of terror returning during their long drive home. Hecker decided to stop for the night at the Alamo Hotel in Baton Rouge.
I made a point. I want to go home. I don't want to be here. He held me against my will, okay? He made me stay.
He also kept this letter sent by a girl a few weeks later, inviting him to a 50s dance. She wrote that Padre Hecker would pick him up. He didn't respond, and then he kept retreating from friends and family, and from the church he loved.
I'd go to church, okay? I never lost faith in God or my religious beliefs. You know, I did lose faith in how the Archdiocese was running the business of the church.
In April 2002, Livaudais filed his complaint with the church. Livaudais didn't know it at the time, but 3 years earlier, Hecker had given a statement to church officials admitting he had sex or inappropriate relations with at least 7 underage boys in the 1960s and 70s. The same month, Livaudais complained Hecker was allowed to quietly retire, with the church paying his living expenses and retirement benefits for the next 18 years.
Letting him live out his life, you know, in a nice apartment uptown or a retirement home or whatever, while I go through what I go through. I mean, where's his, it's a shame to say, but where's his suffering for it?
In 2021, Livaudais filed criminal complaints in the 3 places where he claims Hecker abused him: in St. Charles Parish, West Feliciana Parish, and Baton Rouge.
Well, weeks went by, I didn't hear anything, and I emailed them back, and they all wrote back to me and says, no, the DA's not going to pursue anything.
But then last year, Orleans Parish District Attorney Jason Williams filed rape and kidnapping charges against Hecker in a different case. The New Orleans DA alleges Hecker held another boy against his will and raped him. Again, Livaudais recognized himself in the story.
So I looked up what kidnapping was. I said, that's me. So I wrote back to the Baton Rouge police, and I said, I want to file charges for kidnapping and contributing to delinquency of a juvenile. And he wrote back and says, yeah, I remember you. Sorry we couldn't pursue your case. Have a great day. That's it.
That's why the victim in New Orleans isn't the only one with a personal stake in bringing Hecker to trial.
I'm looking at he's found guilty. Yeah, that he's found guilty, and he gets the maximum sentence. I know. So what? He's got what, 1, 2, 3 years left of life compared to my 50. I'll take it.
By law, it's now too late to file criminal charges for any sexual abuse that took place in the 1970s unless it was rape. But there's no statute of limitations for kidnapping. We asked the West Feliciana Sheriff and DA about the potential for a kidnapping charge there. The DA said, quote, "We addressed this case before and all matters have been resolved." We also asked the Baton Rouge police why they didn't respond to Livaudais, and they didn't respond to us either.